All right, let's move on to example number 3. Example number 3, we're going to say 1 minus y is less than the absolute value of x plus 2. Now, I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. That gives me negative y is less than the absolute value of x plus 2 minus 1. I don't like that negative y, so I'm going to divide everything by negative 1. Another way you could do that is multiply it by negative 1, so I get y is going to be negative the absolute value of x plus 2 plus 1. Now, because I multiplied or divided by a negative number, I have to flip the inequality symbol. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so now this one, we should be able to graph this without graphing it on a calculator, but I will pull up the calculator. I've got my xy plane. The parent function is y is equal to the absolute value of x. But what does the positive 2 do?
Moves it up.
2 units to the left. So I'm going to come over here, 1, 2. What does the positive 1 do?
1 up.
1 up. So this is where my vertex should be. What does this negative do?
Flips it.
Flips it. So it should sort of look like this, right? Now, because I don't have an equal sign,
Got it.
I need to dot that line. So it should look something like this. And then I either shade above or below the line. My inequality symbol says above. So I should shade above, maybe.
Everything not in the V.
Everything not in the V. Now, how do I verify that? I pick some point that isn't in the V.
0,
0,
0.
0.
0,
0, 0 works out good. So I say that y is greater than the absolute value of x plus 2 plus 1.
Negative absolute value.
0 is greater than the absolute value. Oh, it's negative.
That's value 2.
0 plus 2 plus 1. The absolute value of 2 is 2, but I have this negative symbol, so I've got negative 2 plus 1. And so I have 0 is greater than negative 1. Is that true?
Yes.
Yep. So the shaded region is all this stuff. Now let's verify that. Let's double check. We did it all by hand. Let's see. So now I'm going to go in here. I'm going to clear this. I'm going to clear this. And I'm going to plug in my equation, which was y is equal to the absolute value of x plus 2. And then outside I'm going to do
It's a negative.
plus 1. Oh, I did, didn't I? I'm just so excited. Like that? All right, cool. Now, did you guys know that I could go in here and change that
Yeah.
to greater than or less than? So if I go greater than, so you got to highlight that, hit enter. Then you can do the line, and when you get down to the line, if I hit right or left, see how that shades above the line?
Yep.
If I hit it again, it'll shade below. No, that'll just do little points and stuff. But I want to shade above the line with a dot. Like that. Now if I hit OK, now that usually refers to greater than. So if I hit graph, think this is a game?
How did you the angle of the triangle?
It's the slope. That's a great question. Hey guys, listen. Nathan asked a great question. I know, it's all right. Everybody knows that you're Nathan Tan.
That's why you solve it.
I gotta edit that out.
Get that a lot of this out now.
So now, this is also the slope. We talked about that briefly as you guys were walking out the door. This is the slope. This is the rise over run. Now where that comes from is if I multiply it through, I would get negative 1 times x, and then negative 1 plus the 2 plus the 1 and all that stuff. And so I end up with y equals mx plus b. So the number in front of the absolute value bracket is actually the slope of the line going in one direction, and then you just reverse that going in the other direction. So my slope then technically should be -1, and so we can verify that by looking at the points here. We said that the vertex of this thing occurred at x equals, what was it, -2? So if I plug in -2, I should get 1, right? That's what we said, -2 comma 1. Now, if my slope is going down 1 over 1, if I go down 1 in the y direction, that puts me at 0. And if I go over 1 in this direction, that puts me at -1. So if I type in -1, my y value should be 0, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, if I change that number to 2, like if I put in -2 there, then I would go down 2 over 1. Okay?